Coming up,
to be recognized, it means a lot.
Diasporans hailed for their philanthropy and stellar contribution to society.
Impacting and changing life, and that's all I care about.
Plus an update on the collection of regular and bulky waste post-Hurricane Beryl. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkinson. We will also share tips to help you stay prepared throughout the rest of the hurricane season. Don't go anywhere.
Data from the National Road Safety Council shows that 90% of motorcyclists who die on our roads were not wearing a helmet. Don't let that be you. Wearing a helmet could save you and your pillion's life. In the event of a crash, the helmet can protect you against severe head injuries. Wearing a helmet can also help to reduce wind noise and light rays while driving. Let's work to reduce the carnage on our roads. Wear a helmet, ride safely.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 18, 2024. Statin has confirmed that the country's economy grew by 1.4% during the January to March quarter this year, relative to the corresponding period in 2023. The growth was driven by an increase of 1.9% in the goods-producing industry and 1.3% in the services industry. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica explains that the outturn in the goods-producing industry was primarily driven by upward of 18.7% output for mining and quarrying and 7.4% for agriculture, forestry and fishing. Meanwhile, the services industry's outturn was influenced by positive performances in 6 subsectors led by hotels and restaurants and electricity and water supply. The Ministry of Tourism is implementing a threefold strategy to enhance marketing initiatives that will help maintain and grow the sector. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett stresses that while the sector is showing overall resilience, inflation and geopolitical issues pose risks to economic stability. This, he says, may temper travel demand by affecting consumer confidence and spending patterns. He adds that this is evident across our key source markets, such as the United States, UK, and Canada, underscoring the need for vigilant monitoring and adaptive strategies in the tourism sector. The minister insists that to combat the uncertainties, we must be proactive. The threefold strategy will involve, first, market diversification, meant to help future-proof growth by reducing our dependence on traditional markets. The second strategy is marketing enhancement, which will significantly enhance Jamaica's digital and traditional marketing presence. And the third element is airlift improvement, which includes exploring new routes and partnerships to ensure the island remains easily accessible to visitors from around the world.
We will continue to invest heavily in our tourism infrastructure and product development. Our goal is to offer unique, highly quality experiences and set Jamaica apart from other destinations.
The tourism minister was closing the sectoral debates in Parliament this week. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has developed a phased recovery plan. The plan was outlined in a statement to Parliament delivered by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Tuesday. Phase 1 will seek to bring operations at all facilities to full capacity within a 6-month period. This will cost approximately $1.7 billion. Phase 2 will cover repairs to parts of buildings that do not directly affect normal operations. This is expected to take 6 to 12 months and cost approximately $2.2 billion.
And Phase 3 will be focused on making facilities resilient to natural disasters and meet business continuity standards for health. This is expected to be completed in 24 months.
Reports are that 82 or 23% of all public health facilities sustained major damage from the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Of the 26 hospitals impacted, 64% are back to normal operations, 20% are operating with challenges, and the remaining 16%, or 4 hospitals, are conducting emergency services only. Still on the post-barrel recovery efforts, $1 billion has been allocated to provide grants and assistance for restoration, reconstruction, and relocation works.
The conditions that we have agreed is that all potential beneficiaries must be assessed. So, yes, there will be persons who have damage, but not every house that is damaged will qualify for grants for restoration, reconstruction, and relocation.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has also announced several measures to be implemented through the National Housing Trust, NHT.
There is the peril insurance for NHT mortgages. The NHT will give a moratorium for NHT mortgages, and there is a special home improvement loan for roof and home repairs due to the hurricane. And we will also give a special home grant for vulnerable NHT contributors who sustain damage in the wake of burial. All NHT mortgages are covered by the NHT's blanket house owners comprehensive policy, which includes coverage for damage caused by but not limited to fire, hurricane, windstorm, storm, tempest, cyclone, tornado, hail, full flood, and impact damage, however caused.
The NHT will also extend a special 6-month moratorium to approved mortgages affected by the storm based on an assessment of their income and recovery ability. Among the other relief measures is a special home improvement loan for mortgages.
This is a special facility aimed at supporting mortgagors who may need to supplement insurance arrangements in order to adequately complete repairs. This facility is also intended to support NHT contributors, including those who do not currently have a mortgage but may have suffered property damage due to hurricane.
The NHT will also be contributing $200 million to the national restoration effort for Hurricane Beryl. Meanwhile, the National Water Commission (NWC) has begun the deployment of roving generators to power pump stations that are without electricity. The aim is to provide potable water to the 15% of customers who are still without regular supply and are served by approximately 300 pump stations that were impacted by Hurricane Beryl. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has instructed the NWC to rent every available and appropriate generator to give support to communities where water has not yet been restored.
We will be mounting these generators on flatbed trucks so that they can move between communities to allow for temporary reprieve while storage tanks, both households and communities, are refilled. We are targeting approximately 50 of these mobile generators to work in parallel with the JPS effort.
The roving generators are in addition to machines that have been placed at pump stations that serve hospitals, other medical facilities, and infirmaries. Mr. Holness says the first phase of the initiative to purchase the generators will cost approximately $750 million.
As we try to build a weatherproof system, and as we try to build resilience in our public utilities, the government has taken the decision that critical pumping stations for the NWC must have their own backup supply.
And finally, the government has announced a line of credit for large-scale operators in the poultry sector whose operations have been impacted by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. The $1 billion line of credit is for on-lending to broiler companies and/or approved farmers facilitated by the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ.
The broiler companies will provide a guarantee to the DBJ, and the interest rate to the broiler companies will be about 7.5%, and the broiler companies who have these contracts with the farmers would make the payments. The tenure would be about 8 years, and we would lend approximately 90% of the project recovery cost. This is very important for our food security and to ensure that there is no shortage of chicken, which could impact the price.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
I'm not allowed to speak for myself. They make all the decisions.
I'm not allowed to go anywhere by myself. They're afraid I'll escape.
See how my hand and face bruise up? Them beat me because me say me tired.
Victims of human trafficking are all around us and they need our help. Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. If you see something, say something. Report suspected cases of human trafficking. Call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT.
5 outstanding Jamaicans were recognized for their remarkable contribution to the country and the global diaspora in various areas. They were hailed by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen for being ambassadors and role models for their country.
I'm actually extremely overwhelmed right now. I'm thankful to be a part of this process.
It's truly an honor. It is wonderful to be recognized.
It's beautiful, just lovely.
It's a joy, to be recognized. It means a lot.
Today, we celebrate excellence, a call to action, a reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of our country. Allow me to share a little about some of these incredible stories. Mr. Stephen Getting. As the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council representative for Canada, Stephen is dedicated to creating a sense of belonging among Jamaican youth facing hardships in their new home. He offers knowledge, not handouts, organizing financial literacy programs, and fostering meaningful dialogue on migration and integration.
The small things that you do on a day-to-day basis to help people, sometimes it kind of goes unnoticed, and sometimes there are days when you wonder if if these things are appreciated. But this is one of the milestones that have actually kind of given me the extra motivation and the push, and to know that even the small things that you do, they do matter and they have a significant impact.
Next is Mr. Mark Henry, a son of the soil, now fluent in French and with numerous successes to his name, experienced a transformative moment that redirected his path towards service to others.
I've been mentoring young men who under 17 over the past 25 years who have been incarcerated, and their parents, through the Black Star program, were looking for someone to mentor them, and happy to say 4 out of the 5 over the 25 years went on to have success in their life.
Dr. Pearl Jarrett is a force of innovation and action. Her contributions to Jamaica include introducing renewable energy and solutions while establishing a significant school furniture initiative. Dr. Jarrett is a shining example of turning ideas into impactful action.
You do things, but you don't do it for recognition. You just do it because you feel that I really want to do something. So when you get a recognition like this at the highest level, you almost want to go, seriously? Me? Oh, thank you.
Dr. Delia Ann Blake has achieved so much in the medical field and dedicates herself to mentoring and fostering cultural exchange through education and healthcare improvements.
It is a true honor to be acknowledged for everything that I have done within the healthcare. I do a lot of mentoring, educating, teaching, and also practicing medicine. So it's a true honor.
And finally, Mr. Roy Morgan is specially recognized today for his philanthropy and cultural ambassadorship. He tells the world about people like you. His song serves as an anthem of gratitude, and his commitment to giving back to Jamaica embodies the core values of this award.
I've heard up there the streets are made of gold. Yeah. And when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here all through, yeah, there's a place up there for people like you. We as reggae artists, and especially my family, we push a message in the music always. And to understand and feel that these words are now being penetrated to the flesh, that means it's working. So to get this award and be recognized by the Governor General and his staff and Jamaica, it's a joy, you know. I just wish my dad was here and my brother Peter. I know you're out there, so keep doing what you do. 'Cause there's a place up there for people like you.
Let's recap a recent conversation I had with the head of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, on the cleanup process after Hurricane Beryl. Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on the topics important to you. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today we are diving into a critical issue affecting communities across Jamaica, solid waste management in the aftermath of severe weather events. Joining us is the Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, Audley Gordon. He's here to shed light on how the NSWMA is tackling the challenge of debris cleanup and garbage collection. We'll explore the strategies, challenges faced, and what residents can do to support these efforts. Welcome to Get the Facts, Mr. Gordon. And it is really important to talk about this issue because I see you out on the road, your workers are out the road, rain, you're out there cleaning up, you're out there. So let's talk about piling up of garbage and the potential this has in terms of environmental concerns and what has been happening in terms of the disposal of the hurricane debris.
All right, so thanks again, Adrian. Thanks for having me. The hurricane has passed, thank God. We are able to get out Thursday morning and start working immediately. This is not an NSWMA effort only. A lot of agencies are out, a whole of government approach to ensure that we can bring back normalcy as quickly as possible. Now, with regards to the debris that you were focusing on, the important thing is that there's debris all over the place, and it's understandable. What's also important is that we will get to everyone. We will eventually, but we can't get to everyone at once. So I want to just encourage calm and understanding in this time. We are out on almost a 24-hour basis, trying to reach the debris wherever they are. We have all our operations across the island focusing extensively on debris management. Thank goodness we just got 10 extra tipper trucks that boosts our capacity significantly over what we only had 5 before. Now we got another 10, so we have 15 tipper trucks of our own spread out across the various regions. And we also engage private tipper trucks to help in this exercise. We have adequate amount of chainsaws and machetes and so on. And everyone is activated in terms of our management team, in terms of our public cleansing team. And we will not relent until we clean the place up.
And this is to ensure that it is done in a timely fashion.
Absolutely.
As quickly as possible.
Absolutely, because we are dealing with a very impatient public.
Yes.
People, it's like a microwave environment. People want it now. So we're trying to do that, always observing our realities too, that we do have limitations. The crew get tired. We have to pull them from time to time for rest. Myself get tired, get tired and so on. But we have to keep going as best we can and know that we have a job to do and we serve a public that is deserving of the best environment possible.
Yes. Earlier you mentioned about it's not a NWC job alone. NSWMA job alone. So let's look at the whole issue of coordination. So there's partnerships that you afford with other organizations or agencies across this country to ensure that you manage the increase of garbage, the volume after Hurricane Beryl. Talk to us a little bit about that coordination.
All right, so firstly, I must emphasize that there are two types of collections going on now. The regular garbage collection, which is exclusively the NSWMA, that's your domestic garbage, but you also have the garbage resulting from the Hurricane Beryl, which is mostly trees that have fallen, branches and other debris that would have been blown from wherever they are. And we have to get them together and get them off our streets also and out of our communities. So with that, we have seen where the NWA is out there. We have seen fire. Fire was out from early, as you know. They were there. I think the first set of trees that were cut in terms of cutting up to clear roads and to create one lane. I think the fire department played a tremendous role there. And I wouldn't want the NSWMA to be here harping up the credits and so on without acknowledging that there's a lot of other agencies that run out and did and still doing their bit.
We're going to move right into talking about the hazards and safety in removing all those debris. How is the agency doing all of that, taking into consideration hazardous material and some materials that are perhaps too large?
Oh, it's good. So the main hazard now is where you have down utility poles intertwined with debris. But the truth is not as scary as it could have been, because you know that the JPS would have disconnected lights. Well, light is coming back now, but we have the light coming back after most of those areas are cleared anyway. But that would be a major concern for us in the initial stage. But once we are assured that there's no current in the area, then we could move freely around. We don't encounter much more hazard in terms of, because usually we are sticking to roadways, we don't encounter much more hazard. Where there are issues like you would see in a container or so on that look like it could contain chemical, we are always cautious. Even if it's dirty water, we are very careful how we handle anything that has chemical in it and so on. And so we're getting by pretty good. What the challenge is that a lot of people are relying on the NSWMA to come for every bit of tree that they pull down, even people who could afford to organize their removal. And we have seen where people have organized their removal and have taken it to the disposal site. We have probably the most reasonable tipping fee in the world. It's $1,000 to enter our disposal site. And so we're urging residents that if you can even group up with your neighbor, few of you, get a pickup, get a truck, and move out some of this stuff for yourself. We'll be happy to get that kind of partnership also. And so on, because there are a lot of communities who are doing that.
Any other tips or recommendations that you would make to these residents?
Just to emphasize on personal responsibility, because the truth is, it doesn't matter how well we get out there and do the best job we can. Unless we have personal responsibility at source, where people take responsibility for the solid waste that they generate, then we will have a challenge cleaning up Jamaica.
I wish you all the very best with you and your team as you go across this country to ensure that, the place is clean and people can move about freely again.
Jamaicans, practice proper disposal of garbage, and if items can be reused, recycle them. We all have a part to play in protecting our environment from pollution. We are building Jamaica.
The impact of Hurricane Beryl is still fresh on our minds as the recovery process is ongoing. And with 4 more months to go in the hurricane season, it means more rain is in the forecast. So here are a few useful tips to bear in mind. First up, before the hurricane hits, turn off cooking gas cylinders that are kept outside. Having a plan of what to do if all your roof is blown off during the hurricane is important, because this may not be a safe time to go outside. If you do lose your roof, use a shower curtain or garbage bag to cover books and other important items. If necessary, use up empty spaces in your kitchen cupboard and other enclosed areas. Another critical piece of information is to know where your main electricity breaker is located and turn it off if your lights begin to flicker. To safeguard your vehicle from flying objects, consider parking it with the windshield turned to a more protected direction. And finally, check the pipes that are connected to your water tank for breakage as soon as it is safe to do so, to avoid losing all your stored water. Keep watching our daily magazine shows for more tips.
The first technique that will be explained today is the technique of boiling. What we advise is for you to obtain clean water, water that you can see through. Then you would place it into a pot, you'd cover the pot and allow for it to boil. Allow for rolling boil for about 5 minutes. Then it would look something like this. Then after you would have achieved the 5 minutes of rolling boil, then you'd allow for it to cool. Then you would place it inside of another container.
Use an airtight container to store your water. If the water is not used within a few weeks, be sure to carry out additional treatment of the water that may include boiling the water once more.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.